Alright guys, I just want to give you a better look at the Huntress Diana fountain. As you can see, and then off to the right you can see the massive crowds beginning to gather for the start of the parade. So this should be an awesome event today. I'm really excited, I'm really looking forward to this. So let's keep going down. Alright guys, as you can see, we have people painting their faces in the spirit of Dia de los Muertos. And they paint their faces in the form of a skeleton. The skeleton is very prominent here in Mexico. It basically symbolizes our current life. It connects us to the afterlife. So, very cool to see. Okay, here we can see a pretty cool float with the skulls and the deceased futbolistas. La pelote vuelve a casa. So this is honoring and celebrating the lives of deceased futbolistas from the past in the spirit of Dia de los Muertos Junio. This is a cool float here of a traditional Pacatak ring. So the ancient cultures, the Mesoamerican cultures, used to play a game called Pacatak. And that ring you see was part of the court. So the goal was to bounce the ball off your hip through that hole. So this is a very important part of indigenous Mesoamerican culture, represented by this float. Got this guy buying a skeleton in the spirit of Dia de los Muertos Junio. Alright guys, if you look, those characters in the elaborate headdresses are called as danzantes. Those are traditional Aztec indigenous dancers celebrating Aztec culture and keeping their traditions alive. Lots of vendors out selling their souvenirs. Got a really cool Mexican sombrero there. I think I might buy one of those for myself. I think it would look quite good. And we're about to get started. If you look guys at this next float, you have a jaguar represented there. The jaguar is a Mesoamerican symbol of power and prestige. So the jaguar is featured on many floats during this parade. Viva Mexico! Here's a great shot of the Mexican futbolista wearing a sombrero, kicking a soccer ball. Very festive scene out here today for the World Cup Mexico 2026. I just stopped into this Argentinian style restaurant, steakhouse, which is featuring many of the World Cup games today. And I ordered a couple traditional empanadas. a food well known in Argentina. So that's what it looks like on the inside, filled with meat and a crusty shell. Very delicious. All right, let's eat. All right, guys, I just took that Uber bike to the National Monument where the parade is going to conclude here in about an hour or so. So let's keep walking over to the National Monument. And you can hear the festivities in the background. Let's cross the street. Okay, I want to give you a quick look at the National Monument. This monument was constructed to commemorate the 1911 revolution when the Mexican revolutionaries overthrew the dictator Porfirio Diaz in 1911. So that consisted of Francisco Madero, Emilio Zapata, and Pancho Villa. Pancho Villa's remains are actually buried in this monument. Just a little factoid. Got some Dia de los Muertos Junio face painting going on here. Getting his face painted up like a skeleton in the spirit of the holiday. Really cool. Check out the crowds gathering around the Paseo de Reforma, waiting for the parade to finish here at the National Monument. We got the Grim Reaper walking here. Okay, we got the first floats arriving. There's the Pacatak ring. We saw that one back at the Diana Fountain. Characters dressed up in the spirit of Dia de los Muertos Junio. Very cool. She looks very spooky. float celebrating the legendary Pele. Very neat float here. I believe that's Maradona and Pele, both former World Cup champions. Okay, Nomads, that concludes our special Dia de los Muertos Junio Day Parade. This was a one-time event that they're holding just because Mexico City is hosting the World Cup. So if you want to experience the real Dia de los Muertos, you have to come to Mexico in early November. So my name is Nomad Tom. I'll be posting more content about my travels throughout the world in the future. So I hope you can join me on future journeys. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.